performance enhancers.
Bingo. Me, your greatest creation. Bringing you what you've always wanted. Power beyond your wildest dreams, and it's only the beginning. There's only one who can stop us. Or imagine if he joined us.
Willem Dafoe is one of those actors whose very presence on screen can send a ripple through an entire theater. Whether he's playing a tortured saint, a cunning villain, or someone caught in the messy gray area in between, he has an undeniable magnetism that holds audiences in rapt attention. From his piercing eyes and angular features to his distinctive voice and bold acting choices, Dafoe's oeuvre is marked by a level of commitment that leaves no doubt as to why he's considered a Hollywood legend. But how exactly did he come to occupy such a revered space in cinema? To truly appreciate Willem Dafoe's iconic status, we have to dive into his origins, his unique artistic sensibilities, and the milestones of his dynamic, decades-long career. Dafoe was born on July 22, 1955, in Appleton, Wisconsin. Raised in a large family, he was no stranger to forging his own path. His birth name is actually William James Dafoe, but he later adopted Willem, a nod to how it was often pronounced by those around him. While many future stars begin training in formal programs, Dafoe's journey to the screen started with the experimental theater scene. After briefly studying drama at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, he joined the avant-garde performance group in New York, an experience that would shape both his personal worldview and his approach to acting. The unbridled creativity of experimental theater, combined with the raw energy of New York City, gave him a fierce, uncompromising perspective on performance, a trait that would later become a hallmark of his film career. Dafoe's unusual blend of intense dedication and willingness to embrace the unconventional soon caught the eye of film directors. One of his earliest roles, albeit a small and uncredited one, came in Michael Cimino's Heaven's Gate, 1980. Though he was reportedly fired during production, that experience didn't deter him. It seemed only to galvanize his resolve. His first credited role arrived a couple of years later in Kathryn Bigelow's The Loveless, 1982, where he played the leader of a motorcycle gang. Even in this early outing, Dafoe's screen presence was striking. He was commanding, rebellious, and exuded a restless energy that made him instantly memorable. Audiences were beginning to sense that this was an actor willing to plunge into roles with no safety net.
Stay out of this, Elias. This ain't your show.
You ain't a firing squad, you piece of shit!
He cemented that impression in Oliver Stone's Platoon, 1986, taking on the role of Sergeant Elias, a soldier whose moral compass stands out in the chaos of the Vietnam War. The film, harrowing, brutally honest, and a turning point in American war cinema, earned Dafoe his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. His portrayal of Elias is a masterclass in conveying both vulnerability and moral authority, inviting audiences to see the tragedy and corruption of war through a man desperately clinging to his humanity. Dafoe's haunted expressions, his stoic gestures, and the quiet dignity he brought to Elias left a searing impact. From that moment on, the industry recognized him as a major talent capable of bringing depth to intense and emotionally fraught roles. Yet Dafoe wasn't content to be typecast as the empathetic soldier or a noble hero. In a move that foreshadowed the career-long diversity of his filmography,
sometimes I think I feel him, but I'm never really sure. But you always know. God took you by the hand and brought you here.
You think it's a blessing to know what God wants? I'll tell you what he wants. He wants to push me over.
he soon took on the controversial role of Jesus in Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ, 1988. The film courted global controversy for its unorthodox portrayal of biblical events, and Dafoe plunged fearlessly into the subject matter. He imbued Jesus with a sense of raw humanity and spiritual doubt, eschewing simplistic reverence for a complex portrait of a man burdened by both divinity and destiny. The performance showcased Dafoe's bravery as an actor, revealing that he was unafraid to court controversy if the material demanded emotional and intellectual honesty. By this point in his career, it was clear that Dafoe could inhabit the extremes of the moral spectrum, from saintly figures to unrepentant sinners. He embraced sinister roles with the same enthusiasm and attention to detail. Take, for instance, his chilling performance as a ruthless FBI agent in Mississippi Burning, 1988. Or his memorable turn as Bobby Peru in David Lynch's Wild at Heart, 1990. Then there's perhaps one of his best-known villainous characters, Norman Osborn, also known as the Green Goblin, in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, 2002. While many saw that role as a departure into more commercial territory, Dafoe went full throttle, crafting a comic book antagonist who oozed menace and cunning, yet still felt strangely tragic. Even behind the mask, his emotive face and riveting voice work made the character unforgettable. It was a performance that not only thrilled superhero fans, but also reaffirmed Dafoe's chameleon-like ability to excel in vastly different styles of filmmaking. Collaborations have played a pivotal role in Dafoe's career. He formed a close working relationship with directors like Abel Ferrara, appearing in films such as New Rose Hotel, 1998, 444 Last Day on Earth, 2011, and Pasolini, 2014. With Ferrara, Dafoe often explored the edges of human behavior, plunging into roles that were morally ambiguous or psychologically harrowing. Each collaboration felt like a creative tightrope walk, but Dafoe's disciplined approach to performance ensured he never lost his balance. He also worked multiple times with Wes Anderson, offering droll, comedic, and often satirical performances in films like The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, 2004, and The Grand Budapest Hotel, 2014. Anderson's stylized universes gave Dafoe a chance to display a more whimsical brand of acting, showing yet another facet of his remarkable range. Beyond the directors he collaborated with, the list of iconic actors he's shared the screen with is just as impressive. He's played off stars like Gene Hackman, Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp, Robert Pattinson, and many others, always managing to hold his own, no matter how luminescent the ensemble. There's a sense of excitement in watching Dafoe in a scene, because one never knows if he'll crack a wry grin or descend into full-throated mania. His unpredictability makes him magnetic. Even in smaller roles, Dafoe looms large, leaving audiences with the impression that they've witnessed an actor who invests every iota of his being into whatever part he plays.
And if I agree to fly you in, you will leave my people alone.
Or else what?
Don't think I can't harm you.
Tell me how you would harm me. And even I don't know how I could harm myself.
In the 21st century, Dafoe's momentum only intensified. He won further acclaim for his portrayal of Max Schreck in Shadow of the Vampire, $2,000, a film that reimagined the making of the silent-era classic Nosferatu. Dafoe's eerie physical transformations, using prosthetics and contorted movements, made his character both comical and haunting. This role earned him a second Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor, solidifying his reputation as an actor who can take outlandish or niche material and elevate it to something mesmerizing. He didn't shy away from smaller indie films either, demonstrating a loyalty to storytelling that transcended box office calculations. One of the most poignant chapters of Dafoe's career is his work in The Florida Project, 2017, directed by Sean Baker. Here, Dafoe played Bobby Hicks, the caring but beleaguered manager of a budget motel on the outskirts of Disney World. The film's focus on childhood innocence and grim economic reality found its center of gravity in Dafoe's tender, nuanced performance. He conveyed Bobby's frustration, empathy, and quiet moral compass, earning a third Oscar nomination in the process. Critics hailed his portrayal as further evidence that he remained at the apex of his craft. It was a role that might have seemed subdued compared to the grandiosity of some of his earlier characters, but Dafoe imbued it with a subtle glow that radiated both warmth and understated sorrow. If The Florida Project highlighted Dafoe's more grounded side, then The Lighthouse, 2019, directed by Robert Eggers, allowed him to swing back toward the delirious extremes he often inhabits. Starring alongside Robert Pattinson, Dafoe played a crusty, superstitious lighthouse keeper in the late 19th century. The film's claustrophobic black and white cinematography, its heavy use of maritime lore, and the character's spiraling descent into madness gave Dafoe another opportunity to unleash his trademark intensity. He delivered monologues with an almost Shakespearean fervor, blending terror and comedic absurdity in equal measure. Even those accustomed to his bold choices might have been astonished at the performance's sheer power and unpredictability. The role functioned as a reminder. No matter how outlandish or experimental a project, Dafoe commits with unwavering conviction. Another striking aspect of Dafoe's legend is his voice, which ranges from soothing warmth to gravelly menace with remarkable ease. Whether delivering a villain's monologue or the voice of reason, he uses his vocal instrument in a way that can be as scary as it is compelling. This same voice has found a home in voice acting roles, such as Jill in Finding Nemo, 2003, where it lent a brooding paternal quality to a fish wrestling with captivity. Dafoe has an instinct for calibrating his performance to match the tone of the story, whether it's animated, comedic, horrific, or grounded in stark reality. Through it all, Willem Dafoe has maintained a reputation for being one of the hardest-working actors in the industry. Directors praise his reliability and fearlessness. Co-stars speak of how collaborative and generous he is on set. He's known for staying in character, but not in a way that alienates others. Instead, he channels an immersive curiosity into each role, researching and experimenting until he finds its core truth. This approach reveals why Dafoe has been able to navigate the often fickle landscape of Hollywood for nearly 5 decades. He's unafraid to delve into small indie productions, foreign films, or even downright bizarre passion projects. He's done everything from moody art house films to big-budget spectacles, all with a dedication that feels almost spiritual. It's this continual pursuit of artistry that has netted him 4 Academy Award nominations. 3 for Best Supporting Actor, Platoon, Shadow of the Vampire, The Florida Project, and 1 for Best Actor, At Eternity's Gate, in which he portrayed Vincent van Gogh. And even though he hasn't clinched the Oscar yet, the mere fact that Dafoe's name consistently appears among the nominees is a testament to the acting world's respect for him. Awards aside, fans and filmmakers alike celebrate his boldness, the sense that he's always willing to push boundaries and take a project to places it never would have gone without him. While Dafoe's expansive body of work might include the occasional misfire, inevitable in a career so prolific, it's precisely his willingness to risk failure that makes him so admired. He doesn't confine himself to the safe bet. Instead, he gravitates towards scripts that challenge him, that scare him, or that simply speak to him in some deeply human way. In an era where many actors become pigeonholed by their most marketable persona, Dafoe's refusal to be boxed in has allowed him to mature as an artist across multiple genres. He remains as unpredictable as he is skillful, which is what keeps audiences riveted to whatever he tackles next. Perhaps that is the defining quality that has made Willem Dafoe a Hollywood legend, his blend of relentless ambition and refreshing humility. He views acting as a craft, not just a means to fame. You can sense his reverence for the storytelling process every time he steps in front of the camera or onto the stage. Whether he's portraying a saint, a monster, an anti-hero, or a nuanced everyman, he strips away vanity and vanity-driven choices, revealing raw layers of truth. Watching him perform is like watching a master painter at work. Every brushstroke, every color choice, adds up to a portrait that brims with life and complexity. If you've ever been mesmerized by Willem Dafoe, there's no mystery as to why. He's an actor who merges fearless experimentation with a craftsman's discipline. He's soared to the apex of the industry not by chasing celebrity, but by remaining faithful to the strange, raw, and often uncomfortable worlds his characters inhabit. He's part of a rare breed of performer who can pivot effortlessly from big-budget superhero films to intimate indie dramas without sacrificing authenticity. No wonder he's a Hollywood legend. He's earned that title through decades of consistently bold, masterful work. What do you think about Willem Dafoe's incredible journey and the roles that have defined him? Have you been moved by one of his performances in particular, or do you admire the sheer range he's managed to cover? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this deep dive into the career of one of cinema's most versatile actors. Subscribe to our channel for more explorations of Hollywood's most intriguing figures, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.